plane flew non-stop for 5 years. Passengers on board had no clue. They thought only 3 hours had passed. The captain contacted the control tower to request landing. The staff acted strangely, until the flight information was confirmed. The plane landed in an emergency parking area, and there were police cars parked all around. The passengers were very confused. They thought there was a wanted suspect on board, but the director's next words left all the passengers speechless.
Plane departed Montego Bay, Jamaica on April 7, 2013. Today is November 4th, 2018. We've all been missing, presumed dead for 5.5 years.
Upon hearing this, the passengers panicked. They had boarded the plane just 3 hours earlier. How could 5 years have passed? And they hadn't changed at all. To figure out what was going on, they questioned each passenger individually, but to no avail. Apart from experiencing a violent shake, they had not encountered any abnormal phenomena. The police first notified the passengers' families. However, for safety reasons, they still needed to undergo various investigations. 5 years had passed, and many families had undergone significant changes. Seeing his sister had grown into a young woman, the boy was momentarily at a loss. What was even harder for him to accept was that, 3 hours earlier, she had been chatting with her mother, who had passed away 3 years ago. The missing plane reappeared after 5 years. This instantly became a hot topic for the media. The police began inspecting the flight. The plane's data was the same as 5 years ago. This indicated that the plane had flown for 3 hours. Where had the passengers gone during this time? All of this was far beyond human understanding. As a police officer, and returned to the police station, she discovered that her position had been replaced. Feeling lost, she wanted to chat with her fiancé. Instead, she saw the ring on Jack's finger, and realized that Jack had married her best friend. Faced with one blow after another, and turned and left. Later, she was playing with her phone on the bus. Suddenly, a strange voice echoed in her mind. Slower. And looked around but found no one was speaking to her, and tried to persuade the driver to slow down, but the driver seemed unconcerned, and continued at the same speed. As the voice grew louder, and issued another warning to the driver, and it was her shout that saved a young boy. When asked, and seemed very confused, she didn't know what was going on either. After returning home, and told David about it, David thought and had been through too much, and was experiencing auditory hallucinations. But the next day while running, the voice echoed in her mind again.
Set them free.
Looking at the dog locked in the iron cage, and chose to ignore it this time. Until that night, the voice lingered in her mind, echoing endlessly, tormented, and rushed back to the yard. Just as she was about to release the dog, David also arrived. Since driving past the yard, David had also been hearing a voice in his head. Let them go. They followed the instructions, cut open the cage, and released the 2 dogs. However, they were caught on surveillance cameras. The dog owner was going to sue them for trespassing. After comforting her, Jack decided to go apologize to the dog owner. But while Anne was waiting outside, she heard that voice again in her ear. Let them go, and was very confused. Did that voice not refer to the dogs? She followed the voice into the yard. Then she saw a locked house, and immediately realized something was wrong. She picked up an iron bar and smashed the door lock. Jack, who heard the noise, hurriedly stopped her, but Anne still didn't stop. After smashing the door lock open, and was shocked